Boom, you guys, just like that, I'm at 10,000 miles on this truck. Let me give you my, we'll call it my first initial thoughts, or like this, like a little review of what I think about this truck, just because I literally spend, like, I'm in this thing day in and day out. So, initial review, 10,000 miles on a 2019 Ram 3500 Cummins 68 RFE four-wheel drive dually. And you guys, if it's your first time here checking out my videos, make sure you smash the subscribe button. I know my channel is more about hot shotting and not necessarily about like truck reviews, but still, you know, it's little things like this that I do talk about. I talked about how recently that it does squat a lot, you know, so there are little things here and there about the truck specific things, so make sure you're subscribed to get more of those videos. Okay, so first things first, exterior appearance. I would say that there's a little too much chrome right here. I'm not a fan. I know you can get it with the color matched bumper, but then you still have the grille. Like, I just don't like plastic chrome like that. That's the frustrating part. Like these little plastic things, you know what I mean? I would rather have that body colored than chrome. So, but you guys, keep in mind, you guys, this is a lease. I didn't get to choose the options or how it's spec'd. I just picked it up and I paid to lease it from them. So, but this is, you know, that's chrome. This is probably the more common package than the color match, so I can see why it's like that. No fog lights on mine either, but the lights, I will say, do a better job than on the 4th gens. So overall, I'm pretty happy with those. Now, on my truck, I had a 2015. These lights do not work when you turn on your running lights. So you'll notice that they're on. That's good. I like that. It's an extra running light. I think it's pretty cool. But as for the exterior, for the most part, I mean, it's probably very similar to, you know, the other trucks. A truck is a truck is a truck on the outside. Let's talk about under the hood. Now, when I first picked this up, I know that I mentioned it's really quiet, and it is. I am amazed with how quiet this thing is. But the other thing is, I know, like, from what I've read online and what I've seen, they've made a bunch of changes under here. I think we have the Bosch CP4. It's a CGI block. So they've made some differences to it, and it still runs good. It stays real cool in the hills, even when I'm towing. I haven't had any issues at all with this engine whatsoever. The funny thing is, I'm at 10,000 miles right now. So at 10,000 miles, both trip A and B are actually reset. And so I don't know what my MPG has been for the last 10,000 miles. Right now it says 9.4, but I think I average between 9 and 10, somewhere right around there for the MPG. But for the most part, very, you know, just like I was happy with my previous Cummins, I'm happy with this one too. So engine, no complaints, works really, really well. All right, moving on. Transmission, 68 RFE. Really, it's been fine. I don't tow max weight. I know technically this is rated to tow more, and I don't, but the 68 RFE with the weight that I do put behind the trailer, it seems to be doing just fine. But let's look at the cluster. Just hit 10,000 miles. There's my engine hours too. I'll be honest, I was driving around the parking lot trying to get it to 10,000 miles. I haven't had to use 4x4 yet, so that's good. So I'm sure it'll work fine when I do have to use it, but I have not had to use 4x4 yet. The aluminum doors, the aluminum tailgate, those are all really light, no complaints there. So really the drivetrain, the exterior, all of that stuff is, I mean, you don't notice a difference when it's at 10,000 miles. Where you do notice a difference is on the interior. So from a usability standpoint, when you're making a product, you consistently try to improve, right? And Ram, I think they did, it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's how I'd summarize this truck. Like, on the way to making the best truck, you inevitably change things that didn't need to be changed. You inevitably make mistakes. That's how I'd summarize this truck from a usability standpoint on the interior. Okay, so first and foremost, like the power outlets, you know, these USBs absolutely wonderful. There were not enough USBs in the 4th gens. Then look up here. You got a super well placed 12 volt. This is amazing. Like, you run your GPS, that's my tire pressure monitor right now, but like your 12 volts are here. The disappointing part is I don't know if that's supposed to be your only 12 volt and you're supposed to have another one here, but long story short is there is only one 12 volt in the truck. Now, the reason I have an inverter is for my Wi-Fi, and I have an impact drill that I need to charge the batteries. So that's what I use the inverter for, so I can plug an actual outlet. But the really crazy part about this is, let's say you're like me and you have a MacBook Pro. So here's the crazy part. You could actually plug your MacBook Pro into the USB-C in the truck. You can actually charge it. So I no longer need my inverter for my Mac. I actually need it just for the drill and the Wi-Fi. But yeah, look, it's charging right there. You see that? So that's really, really, really cool. Okay, let's continue this usability like thing. So right here on the left side, this controls your gauge cluster brightness. On the 4th gens, when you turned it all the way to the top, it would turn on all of your lights on the interior, which I have no idea what interior lights have to do with dash brightness. So they now moved that. So when you turn it all the way up, it doesn't actually turn on your lights. They moved that up to here. So now you have this extra switch, so you can do off, you can do on the door, or you can just turn them on. That makes perfect sense. This is great usability. Nice job, FCA. I'm surprised it would take them that long. Moving on with the lights. These lights right here, in the 4th gens, they would like just shine everywhere. But in these ones, when you turn it on, if it was dark outside, these would actually shine on your lap. They don't go in your eyes, they just shine on your lap. And I like that a lot. So these lights are now more like map lights instead of dome lights, which is really, really good. And then jumping back out to the exterior, the final thing that from a usability standpoint is your fuel filler neck. On the 4th gens, you guys, you couldn't, with a Truckstop nozzle, okay? Keep in mind, with a Truckstop pump, you couldn't put it on the first click. You would have to put something in there or you'd have to hold it. I don't know what they did with it. They made it a little bigger or they ventilated it a little better, but you can now do it on the first click with your Truckstop nozzle, which that is by far the most amazing thing. Just consistently, I now pull up, put the thing in, start filling it up, and go walk around, go check my straps, go check whatever. But that is like super, super awesome. That is amazing. One of my favorite things by far. And so like, there's a lot of little things, little touches, you know, with the outlets, with the power, with the lights, with the, like, there's all these little things that they improved on. But then there's also a bunch of other stuff that they should have left alone. And not only that, not only should they have left it alone, it's just all of these changes, this is what I understand. Why did it take them so long to begin with to implement all these? Like the fuel filler nozzle, why did that take, like the 4th gens were 10 years old. You're telling me the entire life of the 4th gen, they couldn't make a new fuel filler neck. Why did they wait for the redesign to show us all these improvements? Like most of these things we should have had earlier, you know what I mean? But moving on to like what I don't like about the truck. So first things first is when you're sitting in the truck, I don't know why they made this 4x4 thing so big. I don't know usually if there's something else down here on other trucks or other trims, but this thing does get in the way of your knee. So I do find myself like hitting my knee on this thing, or just like, whereas on this side, there's nothing here, right? So there's much more room here than there is right here. And it's like, why do they have to make this thing right here so big? They could have just gone straight across, you know what I mean? So like, come on, you guys, that's just a simple thing. Nobody needs this giant like 4x4 thing with a bunch of blank space. Like you guys could have just made it much easier and it didn't, so that it doesn't scrape on the knee. Okay, that's fine, whatever. And this is where I was talking about the 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Okay, granted, the map lights are better, but why did they have to put the map light button on its own button? when you're driving at night and you quickly want to take a look on your lap, see if you dropped anything, or maybe you're using a map for some reason and you want to take a look at the map, you want to be able to just reach up, hit the button, and go. On the 4th gens, you guys, it was the light, right? It was the light that you'd hit and it would turn on. But now it's this button, and the little light that's in this button is not bright enough, and so it doesn't illuminate very well. And so I constantly find myself driving down the road. I need to turn the light on for something, so I like, this thing is much bigger. It's really easy just to hit the thing and that's it. Boom. Nope, can't do that anymore. I have to fiddle around, look for this light. You know, you're kind of doing this, like it. Why? It legitimately didn't need to be changed. You guys could have adjusted the light and left this the button. It's very easy to see this at night than it is to see this. So that's a strike. Then Uconnect has never worked well. I don't know about you guys, but I had the Uconnect 5.0 in my truck, which is a 2015 Ram, and Uconnect is terrible. I turned off my Bluetooth to record the video, so I can't use my phone right now. But so let me give you an example. Anytime you plug in, so I have a USB-C iPhone cable, so anytime you plug in the USB-C, it automatically sends it as audio to the thing, which I wish one of the plugs was just power and one of the plugs was just audio. I wish they did that, but they didn't. So now the problem is you're forcing the audio to switch to your phone. But I also have Bluetooth connected to it so that I can talk and drive. And what happens is sometimes it doesn't know whether to play your audio via Bluetooth or via the cable. And so if it's frozen already once on me and I had to shut off the car, and like Uconnect has never worked for me. It's just, I don't know if it's with an iPhone thing, I'm not really sure, but Uconnect is absolutely a terrible both screen, it's just a garbage system. I really do not like Uconnect. The other thing is like this is stuff that they should fix because it can't be that hard to add it. So when you're looking at my cluster and you're like, I wonder, Alex, how hot is it right now in Texas? I would say, I don't know, it's pretty hot. Let's look at my gauge and see the temperature. There isn't one. Like, there legitimately is no outside temperature gauge. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong screen. I've tried to search in it. It says northeast in the top right-hand corner. I have no clue. It couldn't be that hard to add a 110 degrees Fahrenheit right next to the northeast. It couldn't be that hard, right? It's not in there. So that's ridiculous. The other thing that's ridiculous is you do not see your miles. Like, you don't see your odometer when your cruise is on. So here you go, cruise is on. There you go. It permanently deletes from view your miles, which is like, hold on, why can't cruise control be somewhere else? Guys, this is like, and it's these like kind of little things that it's like, what on earth are they thinking? You're telling me people don't read their odometer? I literally almost drove past. I turned off my cruise and I'm like, oh man, I have 9,997 miles. I gotta pull over. And so it's like, but that's luckily just in time I turned off my cruise. But I can't be the only one that thinks like, oh, I want to see my odometer. I can't be the only one. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's frustrating. And that temperature thing that's a whole nother level. I mean, maybe I'm not using it right. I'm not sure, but still, this should come right away. That it says it's 110 and you're heading northeast. It can't be too much to ask for, Ram. So this is why I say, I could summarize this truck with 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's just you inevitably modify things that you shouldn't have touched in the first place. They shouldn't have never touched these lights. Saved us some money. And they should have just added this one, they cut out a hole, add this switch. There you go, done. Keep using the same 4th gen lights. No one really cares what kind of center console. There's literally nothing here. So I don't want this to be like a down, like a negative thing, but it's just, understand, I spend every single day, 12 hours a day, you know, like in this, like here, sitting in this truck, looking at this thing. Like these things start to like, come on, you guys. I want to know how hot it is. Goodness gracious. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's going to do it for the first 10,000 mile review. I'll probably do one again at 50,000 miles just in case I have any like mechanical issues, which I'm sure I won't. But let me know in the comments below what you think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.